Hello, my friends. Okay, so a quick little video in case you're having issues on the take-home. It sounds like some folks with Apples might be having an issue with this error spreadsheet that's on page, whatever page this is, 4. I think it's the last set of questions on the exam. So what I did was I went ahead and I opened it for you. I'm gonna kind of do what I ask you to do on the exam in this video, for those of you that can't get the spreadsheet to work properly. I think it's these buttons up here that are causing the issue in troubleshooting with some of your classmates. Hey friends, quick little note too before we jump back into this. You might notice that I've got a couple fixes on this video, and I re-uploaded the spreadsheet to Canvas for you too. The things that should have been called critical values were labeled as test statistics. I did upload the correct spreadsheet a couple weeks ago, but that was right in the middle of the whole thing with COCC moving my files around, that I think one of the old versions got uploaded and I didn't catch it. So I'm actually glad we're making this video so I could see when I open the spreadsheet up, oh, this is the wrong version. So anyway, if anybody was confused in that last question where I was talking about moving a critical value, but the only thing you saw was test statistic, that's exactly why. And I apologize for COCC moving my files around. So anyway, back to it. This is what you're looking at, and I'll walk you through it verbally. Your null hypothesis curve is this red bell curve right here. The blue one is the alternative hypothesis. And again, you don't know where the alternative hypothesis is. You have a feeling you know where the null hypothesis is, but the research, the alternative hypothesis can be anywhere. You're not entirely sure where it is, which is why error exists, at least partially. The critical value, this green line that's right here, is that line in the sand that you place at the beginning of a study. So for example, in this term, during this term, we always set this up so that the critical value was sitting where 5% error was. And the area, the percentage area that you see here in the orange and the blue are not important. The numbers aren't important. What's important is to look at what happens as one gets smaller or one gets bigger. And then the sample size, you'll goof around with that later on. Okay, so let's go through the exam a little bit here together. Oops, not that file. That's the file manager. I just got a new update on my machine, and I really don't know where they put. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, chance of type 1 is the orange area. The chance of a type 2 is beta. That's the blue area. So, like I said, we haven't talked too much about that. We referenced it. We talked about it in the third project as it dealt with probabilities, but not as it deals with hypothesis testing. So for this first question, I want you to move the critical value to the right and left, but leave the sample size and difference in means the same. What do you notice about the errors? So we're going to increase the type 1 error, and then we're going to decrease the type 1 error. We're going to have you see that and be able to see okay, so here's type 1 error. First thing we're going to do is we're going to increase that type 1 error, which means we're going to make that puppy dog right there larger. Well, the way to do that is to move the critical value to the left. So what I want you to do is to tell me what's happening to the type 2 error as the type 1 error is getting larger. Okay, what's happening? That's all I'm going to say, because I want you to do the rest of that. All right, and then I think the next question was, what if it has a chance of a type 1 error decreases? So we're going to, there we go, chance of a type 1 error decreases. There we go, right there. Okay, so now type 1 error is very small. What has happened to the type 2 error? Okay, I'm going to set it back roughly to where it was. All right, all right, all right. So then you can read this next little bit here. All right, and then you can keep reading this. That's totally fine. We've been testing at 95% confidence all terms. So what that means, again, going back to the curve here, let's bump this over a little bit more. If that is roughly 5%, that's probably close to 5%. If that area right there is 5%, that means all of the area over here, let me delete this curve. There. Right now, null hypothesis curve, I'll put those back in a second, but null hypothesis curve, if this orange type 1 error is 5%, that means this puppy dog here is 95%. 95% confidence is 5% significance. Boom! Okay, so what did I ask? It's pretty industry standard. However, suppose you're planning a study where you really want to avoid a type 2, but you can live comfortably with a type 1, meaning you don't care if this gets bigger than 5%. So there you go. So the question then is, what would you do at the outset of the study? Lower or raise the confidence? Lower or raise the confidence? Okay, let you think about that one. And then C, no, these are good. These are, yeah, I thought the lettering was off there. For some reason, I put 2 questions in A up here. Apologies. C is exactly the opposite. Now you do not want to have a type 1 error. So you can't completely erase the possibility of it, but you want to make it as small as possible. So what must you do with the confidence at the beginning of the study? Okay. All right, let's look what we got here. Now place your critical value somewhere to the right of 0 so that you see visible areas for type 1 and type 2. I better put those back now, huh? Uh-oh. Hope I can. Did I break them? Holy stuff, I broke them. That's all right. I'm just going to shut the sheet down and then open it again. It's all good. All right, here we go. Errors. There we go. So we want to see visible areas. Actually, this will work. I can see visible areas for type 1 and type 2. It's weird that the undo didn't work there. Okay, anyway. As the difference, now adjust the difference in means so that the research moves away from and then toward the null mean. Okay, so as the difference between the null and research means increases, what happens to a chance of a type 1 or a type 2? Okay, so I'm going to go over here and do that. So type 1 is orange, remember, and type 2 is blue. So we're going to first increase the difference of means. So as I'm increasing the difference of means, what's happening to a type 1 and what's happening to a type 2? Your choices are type 1 increases, stays the same or decreases, and type 2 is increases, stays the same or decreases. All right, hopefully. And then I explain the answers that you got here. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, now the fair coin, I think, even if you have max, these are going to work. Just make sure the big thing is make sure that you shut down any spreadsheet you're working in before you, I mentioned this at some point here, right here. Make sure you close down any other spreadsheets before you open these. They'll work for Macs. I know they work for Macs. I'm really bummed that the other one didn't work for Macintoshes because it worked last term, or at least people said it worked last term. Anyway, now you'll do all the rig coins, blah, 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 blah. And the only thing you're going to have to do, this is all not spreadsheet based. The last question right here is only one way to legitimately lower both kinds of errors simultaneously. I says, if not, you know what it is? And if not, open up the spreadsheet, goof around with the last option arrows you didn't goof around with in the previous problems and tell me what it is. So if you think about it, I'm going to set this kind of back to the way it was. The only buttons you haven't messed around, I guess I haven't messed around with in this video yet, are the sample size buttons. So let's make the sample size larger and let's see what happens. Oh, look what's happening as we make the sample size larger. And conversely, we can make the sample sizes smaller. I guess I have them pegged to only get that small. So what you can see, hopefully, is, just so you know, I'm currently increasing the sample size. It's to the right there. And as I increase the sample size, what is happening to both of the errors? All right, my friends, sorry about the goofs with the Macintosh computers. My bad on that one. And hope this helped. If not, just send me an email. We'll figure it out. Be well, fam.